Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. There are 3 places you can kiss a woman that go far beyond the lips. 3 places that will ignite her spirit, awaken her power, and leave a mark no one else can ever erase. I'm not talking about the physical. I'm talking about something so much deeper. The kiss that touches her mind, the kiss that heals her soul, and the kiss that fuels her dreams. If you understand this, you'll never just love a woman. You'll transform her forever. When you hear the phrase 3 places to kiss a woman, your mind might immediately drift toward the physical. But I want you to understand something deeper, something beyond the surface. This isn't just about romance, passion, or the physical act of intimacy. It's about touching a woman's heart, soul, and spirit in ways that linger long after the moment has passed. Because kissing is not always about lips on skin. It is about leaving an imprint that cannot be erased, a memory that cannot be stolen, a mark that shapes her belief in you and in herself. The first place to kiss a woman is her mind. Do you know what it means to kiss someone's mind? It means you invest time in understanding how she thinks, what excites her imagination, what keeps her awake at night, and what lights up her curiosity. Too many people rush to charm the body, but forget that real intimacy begins in the mind. When you ask her questions that others overlook, when you listen not just to her words, but to the silence between them, you are kissing her mind. You are telling her that her thoughts matter, her opinions carry weight, and her dreams deserve to be heard. A woman whose mind has been kissed feels alive. She feels valued in a world that often reduces her to appearances. You can compliment her beauty, but if you never compliment her intelligence, if you never challenge her to think bigger, then you have missed the very first and most powerful place to truly connect. Kiss her mind with your attention, with your curiosity, with your genuine interest, and she will never forget how you made her feel seen. The second place to kiss a woman is her soul. This goes even deeper than the mind because the soul is where her true self resides. It is where her fears, her insecurities, her hopes, and her light all live together. To kiss her soul means to recognize that she is more than what she shows to the world. It means loving her not only for her strength, but also for her vulnerability. When you kiss her soul, you hold space for her tears, for her doubts, for the moments she feels like she isn't enough. You don't judge her scars. You honor them as evidence of battles she has survived. You don't shy away from her shadows. You remind her that even the darkest night cannot hide her light. Kissing her soul is about empathy, about compassion, about reaching into the depths of her humanity and saying, I see you, all of you, and you are still worthy. And when a woman feels her soul has been kissed, she begins to trust you not just with her smiles, but with her silence. That trust is rare. That trust is priceless. That trust can't be faked, bought, or borrowed. It is earned only by those who dare to embrace her essence fully. The third place to kiss a woman is her dreams. Her dreams are not just ambitions. They are the hidden wings she keeps folded inside herself. Too many times, women are told to shrink, to compromise, to settle. They are told to be realistic, to not aim too high, to fit into a box that society has built for them. But when you kiss her dreams, you tell her that her aspirations are valid. You encourage her to chase what sets her heart on fire. You stand beside her when she doubts herself and remind her that she has everything it takes to succeed. You don't just cheer for her when she wins. You support her through the setbacks, the failures, and the moments when giving up seems easier than continuing. To kiss her dreams is to invest in her future, not just your present with her. It is to believe in her even when she struggles to believe in herself. And the most beautiful part of this is that when you help nurture her dreams, you aren't just building her future, you're building a bond that will last far beyond anything material. So many people think love is about grand gestures, expensive gifts, or dramatic declarations. But real love, real connection is simpler and yet so much deeper. It is about knowing the places that matter most and giving them the attention they deserve. The 3 places to kiss a woman, her mind, her soul, and her dreams, are the keys to touching her in a way that time cannot erase. These are not kisses she feels on her skin. These are kisses she feels in her existence. They shape how she sees herself, how she remembers you, and how she carries that energy forward in her life. When you kiss her mind, you tell her that her voice matters. When you kiss her soul, you tell her that her essence is loved. When you kiss her dreams, you tell her that her future is limitless. And when you've touched all 3 places, she will never confuse your presence with anyone else's. Because while others may try to impress her with temporary affection, You will have given her something eternal, validation, recognition, and empowerment. Every woman is waiting for someone to understand this, though few will ever articulate it. She may not say it out loud, but deep down she craves connection at this level. She doesn't just want someone to admire her body, she wants someone to admire her being. She doesn't just want someone to occupy her time, she wants someone to ignite her spirit. She doesn't just want someone to stand beside her, she wants someone to stand for her. That's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary love, between fleeting attention and lasting impact. When you approach life with this awareness, you stop seeing relationships as games and start seeing them as opportunities to create meaning. You stop asking, what can I get from this woman? And start asking, how can I honor her existence? And that shift changes everything. It changes how you communicate, how you listen, how you show up, and how you leave an imprint on her heart. Because anyone can make her laugh, but not everyone can make her believe. Anyone can compliment her looks, but not everyone can compliment her spirit. Anyone can be present in her life, but not everyone can transform the way she sees herself. The truth is, the world is full of noise, compliments, likes, fleeting moments of attention. They come and go. But the rarest, most unforgettable gift you can give a woman is the feeling that she has been kissed in the places most people overlook. That's the power of knowing where true connection lies. That's the power of choosing to go deeper, to love differently, to honor genuinely. And when you do, you will not only change her life, you will change your own. Because when you learn to connect at that depth, you stop existing only on the surface of love. You realize that the beauty of intimacy is not in how loud you can be, but in how intentional you can be. Think about it, anyone can offer flattery, anyone can promise the world, but how many people can sit in silence with someone and make that silence feel safe? How many can stand in the storms of doubt and become the shelter rather than the chaos? That is what it means to truly kiss a woman beyond the physical, by holding her mind, her soul, and her dreams in a way that makes her believe she matters more than the world has ever told her she does. It takes courage to love like this. It takes patience to pause and listen instead of rushing to respond. It takes strength to uplift her when the weight of the world is pressing on her shoulders. And it takes humility to admit that connection is not about control, but about contribution. Every time you pour into her mind, her soul, and her dreams, you are not just shaping who she becomes, you are shaping who you become in the process. You are refining your own character, growing in your own capacity to love, and teaching yourself that real strength lies not in dominance, but in devotion. When you kiss her mind, you plant seeds of confidence that will grow long after the moment has passed. She will carry your words into rooms where no one else believes in her, and she will remember that you did. When you kiss her soul, you create a sanctuary inside her, a place where she can return when the world feels too harsh. And when you kiss her dreams, you become a co-author in the story of her future, a future that blossoms because you dared to believe in it with her. These are not temporary gestures, these are eternal investments. And you must understand something important. When you give this kind of love, it does not just stay with her. It ripples outward. A woman who feels her mind, soul, and dreams have been kissed becomes unstoppable. She walks differently. She speaks with more certainty. She carries herself with a quiet power that inspires others without even trying. She becomes a living example of what happens when someone dares to see her not just as she is, but as she can be. And through her, your influence touches people you may never even meet. This is why it matters. This is why the way you love is not just about two people. It is about the world you help create together. When you pour into her this way, you're not just creating intimacy, you're creating legacy. You are reminding her that love is not meant to shrink her, but to expand her. Not to bind her, but to free her. Not to quiet her, but to amplify her voice until she believes in it fully. And the beauty is, the more you give this kind of love, the more it comes back to you. Because when a woman feels that kind of depth from you, she will mirror it back in ways you never imagined possible. She will kiss your mind with wisdom you didn't know you needed. She will kiss your soul with compassion that heals wounds you thought would never close. She will kiss your dreams with a faith so powerful it will carry you through your darkest seasons. Love is not a one-way street. It is an exchange of energy. And when you lead with depth, you receive it back multiplied. This is the kind of connection that outlasts beauty, outlasts time, and outlasts circumstance. It is the kind of bond that doesn't just survive challenges, but grows stronger because of them. Think of how different the world would look if more people loved this way. If more people stopped chasing superficial affection and started investing in meaningful connection. If more people understood that to kiss someone's mind, soul, and dreams is the truest act of intimacy we can offer, every relationship would shift. Every family would grow stronger. Every generation would rise higher, carried by the legacy of love that dared to go deeper. And it all begins with a choice. The choice to see beyond the obvious. The choice to give more than the minimum. The choice to recognize that the greatest gift you can offer another human being is the feeling that they are profoundly understood, profoundly supported, and profoundly loved. This is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. It is the mark of someone who refuses to live in the shallow waters of connection and instead dives into the depths where true transformation takes place. So remember, it's not about the kiss you give with your lips. It's about the kiss you give with your presence, with your belief, with your unwavering commitment to honor the places within her that the world too often neglects. Because when you do, you are not just loving her, you are elevating her, empowering her, and igniting something eternal within her that no one else can ever take away. Because the truth is, when you ignite something eternal within another human being, you are not simply participating in love, you are rewriting what love means. You are showing that intimacy is not measured in fleeting moments, but in the ability to leave someone better than you found them. You become a source of light in places they thought would always remain dark. You become the gentle voice that whispers possibility when their own inner critic screams limitations. That is what it means to love deeply, to leave a legacy inside someone that no distance, no time, no circumstance can erase. And the beauty of this kind of connection is that it transcends everything external. Looks will fade, circumstances will change, seasons will come and go. But when you have kissed someone's mind, soul, and dreams, you have reached the parts of them that cannot age, cannot wither, cannot be stolen. These are the treasures that endure when everything else falls away. This is why true love does not fear time, it embraces it. Because with every passing year, the bond only deepens, the roots only grow stronger, and the meaning only becomes richer. When you operate from this place of depth, you begin to understand that your role is not to complete someone, but to complement them. It is not to define their worth, but to remind them of it. It is not to stand in the way of their growth, but to water it. This shift in perspective transforms not just the relationship, but the very person you become in it. You stop needing control because you discover that real strength comes from empowerment, not possession. You stop chasing validation because you realize the deepest satisfaction comes from giving it. And you stop fearing loss because you understand that the kind of love built on kissing the mind, the soul, and the dreams can never truly be lost. It becomes part of the fabric of who they are and who you are. There is something extraordinary about becoming a safe place for someone else. A safe place where they can rest their mind without fear of judgment. A safe place where their soul can reveal its fragility without being broken. A safe place where their dreams can be spoken aloud without being laughed at or dismissed. To be this kind of presence in someone's life is not ordinary. It is rare, it is sacred, it is transformational, and it is exactly what the world needs more of. Because too often people are searching for comfort in shallow waters when what they truly long for is the ocean of depth that only this kind of love can bring. Think about it. How many people go through life never really being seen? How many carry their brilliance silently because no one ever kissed their mind? How many hide their pain because no one ever kissed their soul? How many bury their dreams because no one ever kissed their vision for tomorrow? This is why the responsibility to love deeply matters. Because the moment you decide to love differently, you are not only changing one life, you are changing the ripple effect of countless others. The woman whose dreams you encourage may go on to build something extraordinary that impacts thousands. The woman whose soul you heal may go on to heal others. The woman whose mind you inspire may become a leader who shifts entire communities. And it all began with the decision to see her, to honor her, to kiss the places within her that too many overlook. What makes this kind of love so powerful is its authenticity. It cannot be faked. It cannot be manufactured. It requires patience, presence, and intentionality. It requires you to listen with the goal of understanding rather than replying. It requires you to show up consistently, not just when it's convenient. It requires you to believe in her even on the days she questions herself. And the reward is not just her love in return, but the transformation of your own character into someone capable of depth, resilience, and compassion. Because when you become the kind of person who kisses minds, souls, and dreams, you don't just change one relationship, you change the way you exist in the world. You learn to see people beyond the mask they wear. You learn to recognize that everyone has battles they don't show and dreams they are afraid to speak. You learn that true power lies not in how much you can take, but in how much you can give. And in that giving, you discover something priceless, the ability to create connections that last not just for a moment, but for a lifetime, and sometimes even beyond. And once you begin to live in this way, everything around you starts to transform. Relationships stop being cages and start becoming wings. Conversations stop being shallow exchanges and start becoming doorways to deeper understanding. Even the way you see yourself changes, because when you practice loving another person at this level, you naturally begin to apply that same grace to your own life. You begin to ask yourself whether you too are nurturing your own mind, your own soul, your own dreams with the same dedication you are willing to give to someone else. And the truth is, you cannot give fully from an empty place, which means learning to love in this way also demands that you grow. It calls you to expand, to reflect, to rise higher so that you can offer more. The act of kissing the mind, the soul, and the dreams is not just about intimacy with another. It is about elevating the way you move through the world. It forces you to slow down, to pay attention, to notice the details most people overlook. It teaches you to find beauty not only in what is obvious, but also in what is hidden beneath the surface. It turns you into someone who values substance over appearance, connection over performance, truth over illusion. And when you carry yourself like that, you become a magnet for authenticity. You draw people who crave realness, who long for honesty, who are tired of living in the shallow end of life. The extraordinary part is that once you learn to connect at this depth, you no longer settle for less. You no longer accept relationships that drain you, conversations that go nowhere, or dreams that are dismissed. You start holding yourself to a higher standard because you've tasted what it feels like to honor someone's existence in its fullness, and you know that nothing else can compare. That standard becomes your compass. It guides you not only in love, but in friendships, in family bonds, in the way you lead, and in the way you serve. When you approach life this way, you begin to realize that every human being is longing for the same thing: to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, and to be believed in. That longing is universal. And when you are the one who gives it, you are remembered not just as someone who was present, but as someone who mattered. You become a living example of what it means to elevate others instead of diminishing them. And that kind of example has more power than any title, any status, any possession you could ever chase. The legacy of this kind of love is not written in material things. It is written in hearts. It is written in the way someone stands taller because of you, the way they smile more because of you, the way they dare to chase what once felt impossible because you believed they could. That is the kind of legacy that outlasts time. Long after you are gone, it lives on in the actions, the courage, and the love of the people you touched. And that is something no one can ever take away. The most powerful truth in all of this is that the choice is always yours. You get to decide whether you will remain on the surface or whether you will dive into the depths. You get to decide whether you will chase what is temporary or invest in what is eternal. You get to decide whether your presence will be forgettable or unforgettable. And those decisions are made in small moments. The way you listen, the way you encourage, the way you nurture the places in someone that others ignore. Every moment is an opportunity to either give shallow affection or to create deep transformation. Every moment is a chance to either reinforce doubt or to awaken belief. Every moment is an invitation to either play small or to build something lasting. And when you choose to love in a way that touches the mind, the soul, and the dreams, you will find that the rewards are not just emotional. They are spiritual. They give life meaning. They give connection purpose. They give love a power that nothing else in this world can rival.